All right, time to do CSS battle. We're gonna start our timer. Oh, we had a timer running for a bunch. 648 hours? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, we're gonna go to CSS battle. And we have just a few boxes today. We try to go fast to start, so we're just gonna say background is not quite white. We're gonna say the body we're just gonna say margin 0. Add a paragraph tag. Whoops, well, I mean, that is a paragraph. Well, the selector never opened up. Now we need a paragraph in the DOM. We're going to say background is the pink color. We're going to say height is, we have to have a semicolon there, 250. Close, not right. Margin, I don't know, 30. And margin 100. Not right. Let's load our extension. Whoops, that's not how we load an extension, is it? There we go. It's too tall, 240, and it's too wide, 110, 120. There is that. Now we need another paragraph tag on top of that, so let's add a selector for that paragraph tag. Let's say the height of that one is, I don't know, it's less 80. Background is this green color. The paragraph tag needs to be in the DOM somewhere. It's currently off screen, so let's see if we can get it back on screen. Margin minus 100. Then 150. Then 200. Then 50. All right, needs to be moved up, obviously, so let's make that 200. Let's make it 3. Let's make it 250. That's getting close. Needs to be moved over, so let's say 40, and then 190, 200. And then it needs to be up some more to 60, 70. There is the thing, and then we're just going to, well, I can type it in the box. Shadow. It's going to be, how wide is this? I don't know. 200 pixels, 200 pixels. Okay, it's a little much in both directions. That's okay. We can fix that 170, 160. Maybe it's 160 again. Yeah, it is. And then we need that color, which is this green. And that should be a match in just over 3 minutes. That's okay. That's okay. That is indeed a match. Okay. Now, if we were doing this some other way, instead of trying to just go fast, let's go ahead, unit replace, minify, submit, so we have a decent score, 173. All right. If we're doing this some other way, how would that be? So these two green elements are the same. So box shadow is a decent way to recreate them. One could also imagine using something like a linear gradient, not linear gradient, a conic gradient, to create both the pink thing and the green thing. Yeah, one could imagine that. I don't know. I'm going to start by deleting everything I have. And I'm going to start over with something. I'm going to start with background being this color. I'll put an outline on it so I can see one cube solid. Make it black if we want. The line that we're seeing right now is actually the body, not the HTML. There's the HTML. We don't see anything because it's right at the edge of the viewport. So let's margin it in. Margin 30, 110. I think that might be what I used on the other one. Nope, of course not. 120. Okay, that looks right. And then it's a box shadow, 0.009 inch, and it's going to be this color. Now, the box shadow that we just created has no X and Y offsets, no blur, but it has a grow of 9 inches, so it means it gets bigger. And it's this color, so that's what we're seeing in the background of all of this. That's how we're creating that shape. Whoops. Now we're going to select our body. We're going to put our outline back. Outline 1Q. Solid. Let's make it black. There it is. The user agent has a 8 pixel margin on the body. So that's why we see the body collapsed inside there. So we're going to have to adjust that. We're going to say margin 0 to start with. And then the right margin is going to be, I don't know what that is, 50 pixels. More than that. It's going to be like 80 pixels, something like that. The bottom margin is going to be 100 pixels, more than that. Let's try 200. That's too much. 80, something, 170, something like that. And then the left margin is going to be minus, I don't know, 80. Something like that. It needs to be a little taller. Let's make this one 60. There we go. There's this shape. We did use background actually. Interesting. But it didn't inherit. That's why we're not seeing anything there. Okay. To fill this in, we can do something like box shadow. Nope. 2-inch 0. And then the color we can put right there. Oh, this is not right. Inset is what I was looking for to make that filled in. And then this one, we can say, I don't remember what it was, 160 pixels, 160 pixels. That looks right. And then that color again. And then we get rid of the outline and we should have a match with less characters. So 198 total characters. When we minify, it should be less. Yeah, that's a match. We can unit replace, which probably isn't going to help anything out. It helps a little bit. Minify, submit, pretify. We're down to 137. An easy way to save a couple characters here. We have this repeated on our box shadow. Instead of defining that there, we can just say color, and then we can use that number and put it there, and then we can get rid of these. That seems like more. It's 139. We haven't unit replaced yet. There's one more trick that you can use when you use color, though, and it's to go like that. You can delete that first hash, that first pound sign, whatever you call that. Saves you a character. Let unit replace. Now we're down to 136 instead of 137. It's better. Minify, submit, pretify. We could also, in theory, take this stuff, put it up here. Now that's going to mess some things up for a moment. That's okay. Yeah, that might not be okay. Let's put these back 160 pixels. 160 pixels. If we're going to do that, we have to have the right commas in the right places and that sort of fun. If we want anything to work. And I lost my color somewhere. That's okay. We know how to put it back. Color. This. Okay. Now, if we're going to do that, we don't want the background. We want that color to be pink. So inset there. This one, how do we want to do that? We can say that this is 20M and 20M. And we can let this inherit. Okay. Now we need this to fail. So instead of 9 inches, we're going to say 9 line heights. That seems to work for some reason. I don't know why. Let's copy this. And let's not inherit. So we can figure out what's going on. Now this one needs to go to 0. That's right. This color needs to change to green. That's right. And 20M needs to go font 50%. Whoops. Whoops. I do that all the time. There. Okay. So now the only other change that we made, made 9 line heights into 0. We should be able to fix that by saying 0. And then we can put 9 line heights back. 9LH. Yep, that still works. The only issue we have is this color. So we're going to say var color that, and then down here, instead of this entire box shadow statement, we're just going to say C is green. That didn't work. Why not? Oh, because we're not inheriting anything. There we go. Now we're inheriting. It's more characters than the previous way we'd done it. Interesting. That's fun. Minify. Submit. Yeah, that's worse. Printify. 55D8. Huh. Fun. Well, if we're going to do that, we only need that there. And that's better. And 80 on horizontal. Yeah, it's 400. Can that be 20%? No, evidently not. That looks kind of close. Not right. 50. There we go. And then minus 50. Although this is going to be better as, I don't remember the number, 80? Yeah. 160, I don't know. Let's start at 50%. 170, whoops. 80, 90, 100. Not sure that saves me anything. I think it was 160. Yeah, okay. Box shadow, probably not the way to go then. That's my guess. Or strictly box shadow, not the way to go. I'm going to pause here and be considerate for a minute. I want to try a gradients approach to this too, I think. But I'm going to pause for a minute. All right, it's been a couple minutes. I don't know how long. I want to try something stupid. Let's see how dumb we can be. Background. I want to try a. This is going to be too long, but it might be an interesting idea. Color gradient. It's going to go from this white color to pink. It's going to go from 75%. It can just be 0 there. This is going to be too long, but I want to play with it. It's going to be at, I don't know, 100 pixels, 150 pixels. That's the wrong number, but whatever. Let's make this just the HTML. Okay, needs to be wider. 150 needs to be taller. 250, that's too tall too. I don't remember what the number was. 230 needs to be at 100 pixels. No, that's not. That doesn't get at. It just says 100 pixels. 30 pixels. And let's get that sized and positioned right. Needs to be taller to 40, and it needs to be over 120, and then it needs to be wider 160. There's that. Although I didn't want it to be that. I wanted it to be shorter. I want it to be no, I want it to be like 140, 120, something like that. So that is my first comic gradient, but I'm going to have another one. Comic gradient, and this one's going to be wider. Nope. Yeah, wider. We're going to start at the same. 160. It's going to be less tall. 60. It's going to go from transparent. Oops, need a comma there. Going to go from transparent to green. Yeah, that's all. That can get a 0. This can get a 75%. Now, what do we have? Nothing. Why do we have nothing? I don't know. That should work. Conic gradient. This is the problem with gradients. They work or they don't. Comment that out. There it is. Oh, you know what it is? It's that. Except, oh, that needs to become that, and that needs to become that, and then everything works. Okay. Then this needs to be, I don't know, 30 pixels, 30 pixels? Not right, but something. All right, this needs to be 40 pixels, and then it needs to be taller, so this is 80 pixels. There's that. This is really long already. But here we're going to have another selector. We're going to say margin 0, scale -1, and then we're going to let this cascade, and unfortunately it covers the other one up, doesn't it? Oh, the problem is this. Without that, however, we don't get our background. So this doesn't work very well. It works until it doesn't. But, and this recording's getting long, if we could try the same thing differently without gradients, maybe it works. Well, I'm going to keep margin 0 and scale there. I'm going to make background this color. And then I'm going to do some box shadowy stuff, but do it interestingly. Maybe it won't be interesting at all. Margin, I don't know where it is. 100, 100. Outline needs an E. 1Q, solid black. That's transparent. There we go. 110, 120. That's an interesting idea. And then what if I box shadow? Where did I break it? I don't know. What if I box shadow down? So it's going to be 0, 100 pixels. 80. That looks right. That's going to be pink. And then I need myself inset 2-inch 0. This color. And on top of that, I'm going to have one that is, I don't know what it is, 80 pixels, red. There's that. It's not red, but that's what I gave it. There's that. Now we lose the outline. Is that a match? It is a match. So we can get rid of the outline. We can do the same thing that we did previously with color. We can say color. Is it that one? Actually, wait. Nope, we want the other one. We want the D, because we use that one twice. Is that the right one? Yeah, it is. So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Let's unit replace. 5PC, 2 inches is as good as anything. We can get rid of this. 119. It's better. Let's play with colors. If we have white and we want that, we can use this. Does that work? No, it does not. There are a lot of colors that say that they're going to be the same here. And that one works. I don't know why. I'm getting a visitor. I'll be right back. All right, visit is completed. I don't remember where I was. I think I was close to done. We were able to replace this number with alpha value, 888, alpha 5. The others all overlap with something or another, so I don't think we're going to be able to replace them. I tried quickly getting rid of that with that, and because it's an alpha, when it combines multiple times, it changes things. So it's not going to work for those. These ones are hiding things below them, so alpha is not going to work for them either. I can try it and see, but yeah, that's what you're going to get when you try to use an alpha there. So, 110, I don't think is easily replaceable. 120 is at the end, so it's not going to help. Let's start at 50%. That's, oh yeah, it's not going to work. 40, 30, 25, 6, 7.5. Yeah, that didn't help. So let's put it back. There we go. Yeah, that may be it. Minify, submit. 117 characters. That's what I got for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.